StreamYard. You are live, it says. Hey, Scott.
Hey,
We are
Ellis.
now in a sharing mode. We already shared a little bit of prelim. I
Got a
didn't.
dog.
All right. It's a good looking dog.
She is a good-looking dog.
That little patch there is a lot like your hair. For a second, I thought it was your head.
You thought this was my head?
Yeah, look at that.
We both have good hair.
Yeah.
It does kind of look like my hair.
Yeah. It does look like your hair.
Little salt and pepper dog. Little salt and pepper dog. Anyway, so I was telling you that I'm going to be out of town for the next 2 Thursdays. So I'm not going to be able to record. I don't know if you want to do something without me or not, or talk to yourself or whatever.
I could do that. Have an intelligent conversation for once. I'm just kidding.
Without me?
Yeah.
I get it. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't much of a joke, but
No.
I gave it a shot.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Threw you off.
And I was going
going all Don Rickles on you. It's like,
yeah, exactly. I'm lost. I was going to see if you wanted to meet me downtown tomorrow, but I've got to go to the doctor's.
What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. It's a routine. Okay. It's not a checkup even. So I thought they were going to do like a blood draw to check all my numbers, and and so I was like, hey, I need to get my blood drawn. I was supposed to do it in 6 months, and it's probably been more like about 8. And and they said, oh, well, the doctor will want to see you. And I go, what? Wait, what? Why? And like, oh, this is the one. And so now what has become me going by there on my way to work has now become a 2:00 appointment.
Oh boy.
So I don't know, and I can't eat. That's the big thing, is I can't eat. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I got to work. It's been a weird week.
That'll keep you from eating another hot dog like we had last week. Scott and I go to a legacy hot dog place. It's been around since 1924. Yeah, good Lord.
24. You're right. It is 24.
And it's like, my word, those hot dogs.
Well, they're new hot dogs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They aren't from 1924.
They're not from 24.
But they are. They're like hot dogs. They aren't good for you. You can tell that.
Quickly. No. The doctor's going to look at my blood and go, dude, you've been eating hot dogs, haven't you?
You've been eating hot dogs.
You've been eating hot dogs.
Chili pies. Yep.
Chili, Frito pies.
Frito pies, yeah. Maybe that's it. Maybe they're making the chili out of hot dogs. Maybe that hurts.
Something. Something. No. It's really good. It's a good. I like.
Oh, it's great going in. Yeah. Yep.
But it's probably not. It's probably not increasing.
But again, you go without the onions. Maybe that's half of my distress. Maybe as I get into a little too much onion.
I don't. Well, first off, I don't really like onions, and so I avoid them anyway. And when I have eaten onions, it's like, why did I eat that? It always, especially, are they cooked? They're not cooked either, are they?
I'm not sure. They may not cook much. Why would they? I guess they don't. Yeah, just chop them up and scoop them on. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not on that, dude. But whatever. I mean,
And they're generous with them too. I mean, it's a spicy little Cheeto pie.
I mean, that's not. Yeah, I mean, the sad thing is, in our downtown, the eating places have dwindled, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
That sucks. Even before the pandemic, we lost Planet Sub, man. That was I always liked Planet Sub. Of course, I also kind of like. I think I drew that too small. I like City Bites, which is a sub place. I don't know if you and I have ever ate at City Bites.
I'm not sure. I saw it.
It's right there in Leadership Square.
Oh, it is, huh? Maybe I have.
Yeah. It's across from where we get hot dogs, coffee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got you.
It's
the one with
the sunglasses. Their logo's a girl with the sunglasses.
Oh yeah. The Nagel thing.
The Nagel thing. Oh my gosh, we've gone full circle. We were talking about Nagel this week.
Yeah.
Well, it started
a lot of emails about Nagel, and it was he's an interesting guy. And you sent me a documentary on him. He was also he's not all that great about talking about himself, but it was an interesting thing. It showed some process. He does. He's got to use obviously source material, but what?
You said does.
Oh yeah.
He's no longer with us.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Too early. At the height of his fame, 30s, too, man.
30s, yeah.
Height of his fame. I mean, you think about somebody that had like a lot of success, and just
Yeah, he blew up. He didn't make much money on the Rio cover for Duran Duran, but was it?
Yeah, he did in the long run, though.
Yeah,
man.
he did in the long run. Yeah, lots of personal exposure there.
It's funny because I don't think somebody doing that style would be popular today because it's too vectored looking.
Well, that's interesting.
Because I think people would see it now and go, I can do that in Illustrator in 5 minutes.
Well, you've got to have a certain sensibility about what you choose to leave in and leave out.
People don't care about that. They just go, I can copy that. But I get it. And he worked at it. If you hear that thing, he talks about how he perfected his process. I mean, I was never a fan of his back in the day, but his stuff is so iconic. I mean, he's not one of those guys like a Sid Mead or something like that where I'm like, I want to draw like that, but it's cool stuff. I mean, I appreciate all art that is done from a attitude of this is what I'm doing and this is the best I can do it. Now I don't some of this hacky stuff. It's like, But even a guy like Jeff Koons, who a lot of people kind of turn their nose up at, I kind of appreciate, even though his art, he's more like a process art. It's the process of getting something made. I can appreciate that because he's like what I have to do at work every single day. How are we going to make this? And somebody's got to draw it. Somebody's got to figure out, where this is how we're going to construct it.
And I'm not totally against guys that do cheats like use 3D. If they're doing their own 3D modeling, power to them.
Oh yeah, well yeah. I mean, I'm not a snob, but I AR art, that's.
Oh yeah.
Even though some of it looks really cool, it's like, well, there's nothing to this. Well, did you see the email I sent you tonight?
Yes, some sort of weird filtering that you did that was kind of cool.
Yeah, so there's a app called, I think it's called Photo Leap, and it is a filter for photos. It's not really I don't think it's an AI art thing. It's more just a filter. But there's a little bit of AI to it because it interpreted some stuff for sure. Anyway, I ran a selfie through. And it had like a cyberpunk. It had different filters. You didn't do prompts or anything, just the filters. And I did a cyberpunk and a anime and a one of them was like a synthwave, and then I don't know what the last one was, but it made me Mexican looking. It was either like Filipino looking or Mexican looking or something. But I messed with that a little bit. But it wasn't free. You could do it was like a trial. You could do like 5 of them. So I did a couple. And cool. I got, it's like, okay. But I liked the anime one. I was showing it to some people at work, and I was like, man, if you could get this and photograph your pencils and run them through there, maybe it'd ink them for you.
Sure. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I think that's been a big deal. Scott Benefield, who I interact with a little bit on Instagram, I always, like his drawings when he shares them with his fans. He's a real good, what do you call it when you specialize in pretty girl art? What do they call that?
Like a pinup artist?
Yeah, like he does lots of pinups, and he's really
or
good at it.
cheesecake.
A cheesecake. I thought they
Yeah, yeah,
had a
we get
big
it.
big term for it. You know the guy that. Oh yeah. Anyway, what was I trying to say about Scott?
Oh, sorry.
Uh, well, no, I asked for oh brain. I asked for a dump on what's that term I'm thinking about? And so I deserved it. Uh, anyway, Scott has he has several times turned in work that is taking his pencils and just bringing his levels around. He does very finished pencils. In fact, he does pencils that to me seem kind of dumb because they are so finished. You ought to be able to, put your X's on here or whatever, but he always does fills and those X's to show where you should be solid
Yeah,
black.
yeah. Like
And
here.
he always
Yeah, I
does
should do that.
fills. And it's like, oh, well, okay, that'll slow you down just so much, and also makes your stuff into a mess eventually if you don't watch it. But no, he's able to scan that, play with his levels, and he's got it inked. You could do the same thing. You could make, if you worked clean enough, you could just go right to inks by virtue of using levels in Photoshop.
Yeah, it's raining up here or down here.
Oh, it is.
Up here, yeah.
I might have just heard some thunder. I'm not sure.
Okay, so just so anybody watching this, I don't know, is anybody watching?
Not that I see.
No. Okay. I put a note on Facebook, but anyway, if anybody's watching and we disappear, that's what it is, probably,
Yeah,
possibly. One or both of us have lost power.
Mhm.
I shouldn't lose power. My power lines are all buried, so I don't usually lose power when it.
Oh, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
Tell you what, anything that's up above ground in Oklahoma is subject to being destroyed.
Yeah, my mom bought a generator at her house. I mean, like one of those. It's linked into her gas line, and it comes on when she if she loses power, and
Well, that's cool.
it comes on immediately. She didn't lose any power, and you won't run out of diesel because there's no diesel. It's all natural gas.
Oh, is that another way of saying propane or what?
No, it's natural gas. Like
Okay.
like when your stove. I don't know what your stove is. Natural gas.
You
Our
know what?
stove is.
There's nothing that irritates me more about our political climate than the fact that these people are as dedicated to ending natural gas as anything, and yet that is the cleanest possible thing we could be involved in developing. And it's like if everybody had a natural gas car, there would be no pollution problem.
And you can do that.
Yeah, we could do it. It would very simply translate into how power is transferred to our current car. Oh yeah. They have fleets of them. I think there was a government.
Users have them.
Mm-hmm. It's annoying.
Yeah, it's just liberalism and
well, it's that I don't know if it's insidious or not. The fact that they think that they have such a big idea that they need to start steering in such a heavy, high-handed way all the little people, and it's very annoying.
And the bad thing about that is like in Europe and stuff, they really count on natural gas, and so we've made it to where people are gonna not have power. I mean, some of these people won't be happy until we're all eating grasshoppers and living in caves, and our what am I looking for? The amount that we're able to drive is going to be regulated, where we can get, it's just control. It's all about control, man. Central control is what it's all about for these people.
I can't imagine anybody that had to could ever be happy with where public transportation is headed. You're going to have the ability to say, okay, if you're going to make me be a public transportation user, you're going to have to give me an e-ticket for my trips, because I can't stand I'll pay more, but I can't stand to be among all these crazy, loony people drooling on themselves. I have to have a better class of people, and then there'll be these distinctions, and they'll they'll almost have to have them. Otherwise, it'll be people just go mad having to make.
But that's what they want is equity.
Mm-hmm.
That would be that would be the ultimate in equity, Ellis. If we all had to take the bus with every,
Yep.
No,
I know, but
nutball that dyed their hair,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're gonna get this one will get taken down. Watch this while you can, folks.
Yeah. Oh, and the other big art, I showed you that stuff. You showed me another artist that I thought was pretty good too.
Oliver Vatine.
Yeah, Oliver Vatine. The other guy, he's apparently got several of these out. I ordered one of them. Thought I got a pretty good deal, $9 with free shipping for that one I just read from the library, Streamliner. And it's the first one is the one I read and bought. And that art is, like I say, pretty super. This is a guy that...
I'm going to show you something, Ellis.
Oh, what do you got there?
So look at your screen.
Okay, I will solo you so I can look at it.
So I got this at San Diego many years ago, and I heard about this guy. I went to in Dallas. I went to a panel with Scotty Young, and they were asking him who his influences were, and he listed a whole bunch of them. I wrote them all down, and one of them was this book, Oliver Vatine, Pink Planet. Now he's done some American stuff, but this is French. Let me, and he did a lot of pinup stuff.
Well, it looks like he's probably I don't know how long he's been around, but he obviously has influenced this Fane.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. This guy's older than him, I think.
Yeah.
Little nudity. Sorry.
Little nude. That's all right.
It's okay. It's all drawings. Ink on paper.
It's ink on paper.
Let's see.
Yeah, you crack something open, you say, okay, let's look at a little Liberatore. Oops, I'm sorry. Nudity.
Sorry. Yeah.
No,
yeah. Like, don't take this to work.
He does a lot of pin-up stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. See,
you know what? But you're not showing the stuff that I saw with that one big page I sent you, which made me think the guy could look just like the typical pilot artist.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the
pilot.
Well, but what you sent me was a like a page from a comic, right?
Right.
Yeah, this is. I don't know if there's much comics in here.
This is his illustration work.
This is illustrations.
Uh-oh, I hear an alarm on my side. I may get blown off the earth.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Wait a moment. Let me make sure it's not the fan. Yeah, it's definitely an alarm.
The tornado siren's going off?
Yeah.
Do you need to go somewhere? I don't know where
no,
you go.
All I want to do is stick my head out. Go ahead and show that off for a second. I'm going to stick my head and look out the window anyway.
I'll show him this. I think Ellis would like this stuff.
Well, hell, if it hits, it hits. I'll dive for. I don't know where I'll dive if it hits. Who cares?
So this is the stuff that I think. See, like this. Your style kind of reminds me of this, kind of a loose figure with,
Wow.
He did some. He did game work. This is all games.
Yeah.
Or maybe,
Well,
maybe
I've said that before. That absorbs everybody that's got some if you show you got some groovy talent, boy, they say, hey, you need to work for games.
this guy was born in '59, so he's been around forever.
Oh yeah,
or a while.
He's 6 years younger than I am.
Oh, he's ancient.
Yep, that's right.
Anyway, he's anyway, Pink Planet. This is I mean, if you like this, somebody watching likes this. I paid $35 for this. I think you can get it on Amazon cheaper than that nowadays.
Wow.
It's not one of those things. I bought this, and I bought oh gosh, who's the girl? There's a girl that does a bunch of that's French, that does a bunch of animation stuff. Oh, I can't think of her name. I bought a couple of her books.
Claire Wendling?
Claire Wendling. Yep.
Oh, I love Claire Wendling. Yeah, I've even got a couple of little sketchbooks. She does a great big cat. Yep.
Yeah.
Any kind of animal. She's awesome, man.
Oh yeah. The thing I got has tons of like zoo kind of drawings in it. Yeah, she's pretty good. And then I also got at that same thing, another thing you talked about was the people that do a book called Sky Doll. I don't know what their name. They're French, and that stuff's pretty good too. But it's real cartoony stuff that he was recommending, so it's kind of out of my normal thing.
Can you believe how loud that siren is?
I was gonna say I can hear it over here, man.
Yeah.
They don't want you to sleep through it, man.
I guess not. It makes me want to take another look. I'll tell you that. That's all right, though.
Oh, that. Well,
I mean, like I say, there's not much.
Close.
Yeah, there's not much I can do about it. So I don't know why I would jump up and down about it. There isn't anything I'd grab to specifically save over anything else. If one of those things comes storming through, you're done.
Yeah, I mean, you're that's kind of been my thing. When I was a kid, my mom would always make us go down in my grandma's basement, and I hated it, or cellar. It's not a basement, or cellar, and I hated it.
Yeah.
Because my brother and I'd be down there with the canning and the
daddy long legs.
Yeah, and
did you
and
have those?
All the adults would be up watching the storm, and I always wanted to be one of the adults watching the storm.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I have not been into a storm shelter since I moved out of my house.
My mom would get angry at me and Russell going outdoors to look at storms coming at us, like that we were, I don't know, heightening the problems. Yeah.
Ellis, get back in here. That storm's gonna get you.
I guess.
Well, I mean, obviously there's a situation where if it comes over and you're in the, but I mean, the odds of that are slim. I mean, we've had two fairly big. Well, I was at work one time. My sister called me crying and said, and I said, and it was a day, kind of like the day where it got stormy, and she was like, "Your house has been hit by a tornado." And I go, "What?" And she goes, I said, "Jeannie, how do you know that?"
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm naturally skeptical of anything. And she goes, "Well, we were driving down the street and we saw the tornado go right over your neighborhood. And I said, "Did you see my house get hit?" And she goes, "No." And I said, "Well, Michelle's at work, I'm at work, so we're okay. The dog might be a goner, but we're okay. So, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. We have insurance if there's a problem, And kind of find out it hit down the street and tore up some fences and stuff, but it didn't hit our house.
Those little vortexes, if you get hit with any little part of it, it doesn't have to be the main tornado. You can get hit with very high damaging winds and a little.
Yeah, I mean it's almost as bad as anything else is. If something tears up your house.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, well that's true. That's another thing that I need to check out. See if I've still got any of those garage shingles left after this one. you know, I mean, we haven't even started yet.
No, well,
You know, I don't. The bad weather goes on spring into summer. Of course, it tames at the moment. The
it
bad heat
does.
is just stabilizes.
Yeah,
But the heat is where the energy comes from.
yeah,
At least the sirens are out.
yeah,
Maybe the storm hit them. Shut up, smack.
yeah. Ellis, you're just you and Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I was thinking about Magnus Robot Fighter. I wondered
Again?
about. Well, I was thinking about how it seems so odd. You know how difficult it would be to draw him. Like I said, from a lot of different angles. What with that tunic being
Oh yeah.
so up the skirt, kind of revealing
Yeah.
in
Oh
just about
yeah.
any action moment, and it's like maybe that was a mistake. Maybe they meant for him to have, red leggings that matched his red tunic. Who knows? And
Maybe so.
it went out as flesh, and it's like, oh man,
Oh, what are we in for
we've
now? It's
we've
like
got
Gray Hulk all over again.
yeah, we got 3 issues of this guy with his naked legs running around here. That's not what we wanted. Russ
Page
Manning is
2's
saying,
done.
"I'm going to kill somebody." I don't know.
Page 2's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go back and draw a little bit on this.
Oh,
page
speaking of Russ Manning, a guy that worked with Russ Manning, I just watched The Rocketeer again recently.
Oh, really?
That holds up pretty well. I mean, it seems slow, and probably if it does seem slow, it probably is slow. It probably should move at a little better clip, but it's a lot of fun. Joe Johnson, I guess, went on to do a lot of good stuff.
Didn't he do Captain America?
Yeah, he did. I think he did it right after that. So yeah. So he showed he could handle comic books seriously, if that's what it takes. I was watching Royal Dano today talk about the highlights of his career. The guy that was on the newest Batman who does he play? He plays the crazy guy in the newest Batman. Who is he? What is his character?
I don't know who the actor is, but that's not the Riddler, is it?
I don't think it's the Riddler. Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
The Riddler's in there, but he doesn't look like the Riddler.
Maybe that's it. He's something. But you know what I also liked about the conventions of that Fane's art. He just has such wonderful little shorthand for how he draws features. His eyes and noses and stuff like that. Hey, look, Fly Fox showed up. Hola,
Fly Fox.
Yeah. I'm drawing people running. I drew one. I was talking about things being distorted and out of artist's control. I did something that looked like it was out of my control, just the last drawing I did. So yeah, this doesn't look like it's. Yeah, and it also, when you see somebody like that, you think, okay, stylistically, this guy's given himself a set of rules for this bit of world building, and it's cool, that he has so many things he's figured out. His Bible on what is the appeal of how he's going to draw this world. I think he probably has got a few 3D models laying around too. He's got a bomber that he regularly rotates all sorts of directions.
Oh yeah, that
forms the shade over his gas station.
Maybe
just a very cool, strong idea.
It may be a SketchUp model even.
Oh yeah, there you go. I mean, SketchUp can do just about anything.
Yeah,
be a lot easier with Blender. I mean, in terms of like
Yeah, but
So, so
SketchUp, you could probably somebody. I mean, I don't know what kind of bomber it is, but there is a warehouse. Literally, that's what they call it, of like SketchUp
true.
models.
Yes, yes, you can just buy it. And all that, and I never, and
Oh no,
I've got,
SketchUp, they're free.
yeah. Well, they have them for sale too. They
Oh,
have,
do they? Okay.
oh yeah.
Sorry, the ones I've used have been free.
Yeah, yeah. SketchUp does have some really pretty groovy models. Yeah, you're right. It would be interesting. I'll probably have to do a little more of a deep dive on. By the way, Dan Johnson is saying, did I see page 2 of part 2?
Yes, it's done. I just finished it. Sorry. uh,
Now it's under wraps. And
no. So, oops, upside
go ahead,
down.
show it.
Let's see. So here's one of part 2. This is a part 2. And I was real happy with how this came. I thought it moved really well.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is page 2. I was pretty happy with this one too.
Yeah.
For different reasons, but
Mm-hmm.
I tried to make her look like she was like gasping for breath. And I didn't know the script had him like having this oxygen. His suit is actually like a fire suit. It's built to
Mm-hmm.
do fires or to fight fires. And so I was like, well, okay, I'll do a mask. Well, something like it collapse. I didn't know where to plug it into. So I kind of plugged it into his shoulder. Kind of cheated.
Dan likes it.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Dan.
Flyfox asked he needs to
Oh,
build
he
a
didn't just
space.
like it. He had 3 exclamation marks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan.
I need to build a spaceship model in one of these programs, but I never have done much 3D model. Like Scott said, I forgot all about that, but they have a lot of people that have already built your model for you.
It depends on what you want. But.
Yeah. I mean, if you have a really specific vision for it, but of course, even there, all you'd have to do is know how to navigate and how to set your camera up and the filter on it, so that it comes out looking like a line drawing. And
yeah,
and
some of those SketchUp
some
models can do that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they've got pretty good filters for making it look like a line drawing.
But that's neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
No one asked me.
Well, yeah, no one's being asked about a lot of stuff. Cars that drive themselves. You don't need that.
Well, I want a car that won't drive itself, or that will drive itself when they take my car keys away from me. Then I'll be like, okay, give me that self-driving car. Otherwise, I enjoy driving. It'd be cool on a long trip though. Maybe, I guess.
We were talking about public transportation. That would be. Dan wants to give you a note. I figured it would be a small portable mask. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought. It would just be some kind of a little plastic thing that maybe even folded.
Uh-huh. Or something that was almost like what falls down from the ceiling and.
Yeah, that's from an aircraft, which I think. Well,
a nose cover,
plastic cones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it'd be something kind of flexible. That's why I wasn't worried about I wanted to show where it was getting its oxygen from, but I wasn't too worried about showing him I mean, I could have done the Iron Man thing where it's in the pod on this, because he has pods on his hips, kind of like Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I could have done that, and been like, oh, it came from here. But I'm not Bob Layton.
I was watching something, a guy was really doing a pretty good job of talking about Charlton Comics and Blue Beetle and a lot of forgotten heroes from the time. But the guy he was showing for Blue Beetle, he was just showing it over and over again that it was Tony Tallarico art. just very obviously. For at first, I thought, is that Jerry Grandetti? And I remember hating both Tallarico and Grandetti when I was a kid because they showed up in the old Warren comics fairly often as, getting the job done. Now I appreciate him a lot more, but the fact that he was mentioning all kinds of artists, and the guy he had on screen the most was Tony Tallarico for the Blue Beetle. And I saw something that said they were going to have a movie of the Blue Beetle coming up. And it's like, what are they going to do? Who's doing that? I mean,
it's a DC thing, man.
Okay, so it's James Gunn making it happen, huh? Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't know how involved he is, but yeah, it's part of his thing.
That may be the only reason it got happened. Looking for some obscure stuff, and that is like this essay was saying. It's a huge, it's one of those cult fan favorites where it was funny. The thing that this short delved into was how many people did fan art of the Blue Beetle. They just dug the whole Ditko vibe of it.
Yeah, I could see that.
And this was something I could have mentioned in the script. He's talking about notions about, what kind of mask it is.
Oh yeah, no, it's okay. I mean,
Oh, it's the modern, updated Blue Beetle. Well, see, I was thinking about that too. If you've got a guy like the Cricket here, and you want to give him something like powers. You say he already has powers, right? He has powers.
Suit. He does suit.
Well, another way to give him flight powers is like the Blue Beetle. And think how often Ditko resorted to having like a drone, basically, that was a helpmate. He had that big flying beetle that the Blue Beetle would swing down from. And, the Green Goblin obviously has got his flyer. And that was pretty typical of Ditko. Say, okay, let's give this guy a way to get around, and fast, get him across town without having, it looks dumb if he's driving a car. He's a superhero.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially in a big city.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I'm thinking about buying a drone. So.
Oh boy.
Well, it's something we can do photography with.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So anyway,
when you say we, what do you?
My brother and I for our.
Our
thing. Well, we figure like
assaying property and stuff. Yeah.
Yes. That would, I mean, think about it. If you're like figuring out where to put stuff. If you could do aerial photography and then do, while you're, I thought about, a guy at my work used to have one, but I asked him, because I told my brother, I go, I'm going to see if this guy would he charge us to do some aerial photography. And the guy lost his in a lake. He said he sunk it in a lake. He said it ran out of battery, but there's one that does 4K. Anyway, I thought if I got it, it's real small, Ellis. It's like this big when it's folded. And I figure if I get it, like you and I are going to
check it out downtown.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, we take it downtown. We go downtown. I mean, how cool would that be?
Mm-hmm. It'd be cool until you get told by a cop. It's like you realize you have to have a permit to do this or that. Yeah.
I'd tell him, "This is America, buddy. This is land of the free, home of the brave."
Yeah.
I told him, I asked the guy if the guy at my work that had one, I said, if I get one and something happens, can they track it back to me? And he goes, oh yeah, it's got serial numbers on it. I said, well, I would if I got one, then I would file off all the serial numbers so no one can track me. And he looked at me and I go, just like with my guns.
Yeah.
And he's like, what?
Yeah.
That's a joke. I don't have any guns with the serial numbers filed off.
Yeah.
That'll get this. If anybody sees this live, is lucky because this is going away.
We have had guns found when I worked at that rent-a-car job.
Oh, I bet in a
People would
car.
leave their car guns behind, I guess, just because they knew they couldn't get it through any sort of checks. And it's like, oh well, I got my use out of this. I don't
Yeah,
know if they
whatever
got
they did with it. Yeah.
it's probably stolen or whatever, you know.
I used to work with a guy, and he bought a used car, and he found a gun under the seat,
Hmm.
and it was a kind of a nice gun. He ended up giving it to the cop. He called the cops. He freaked out.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a gun guy, but he still freaked out.
Boy, freaked out by, I can't have this around. Someone maybe obviously
Well, I think it was
dead with
more,
it.
yeah. I think it was more
Quincy will
like,
stick me in jail.
yeah, what if somebody killed somebody with this thing? I could get,
If anybody remembers Quincy.
yeah,
So that's a long time ago. Lots and
Jack
lots of
Klugman.
heart.
Jack
Yeah, yeah.
Klugman?
Yeah, Jack Klugman. He was around a lot for a long time. Oh, good old way. Well, he had his big hit, the Odd Couple.
Odd Couple, yeah.
Yeah.
See, okay, so my idea of we've talked a lot about The Thing, you and I,
Mm-hmm.
and my idea of The Thing is he's like Oscar Madison,
Sure,
just kind of a
sure.
slob, and then and I was looking at some Thing comics the other day. I forget what it was. Apparently it was a Fantastic Four, and it's just like, oh no, he's like just like every other superhero, who's created everything. But to me, The Thing is like a great character. You could do a lot with that character.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Klugman was pretty good. He, they used him a lot on TV for sure. I'm trying to think of any big movies they showed him off in. He was usually your small screen guy. Twilight Zones, a couple of those maybe. I watched Bullet again just last night, come to think of it. And that, not only does it hold up well, but you wonder why they don't make more like it, where it's like the dialogue is so minimalist and real and everything like that. Of course, it's by the guy that went on to direct. I guess his next one was The Friends of Eddie Coyle, where
oh gosh,
his source material on that was extremely great,
dry.
rich dialogue.
Yeah,
And everything you're getting is strictly from the dialogue.
that so I watched that from the library, and then they got rid of their copy. They had the
What?
book for a while,
Mm-hmm. Well, don't they
and
still?
I don't know if they still had the book, but they don't have the movie anymore. And
Huh.
it's strangely compelling. It's one of those things I watched it and I was like, I don't know about this, and then I
Yeah.
go, but I've watched it like 4 times, or parts of it.
Well, it's
When
got
they
some of the best
go,
dialogue ever. And that poor old guy that wrote it, it's like he must have just used up all the info in his head or the way he wanted to write, because I don't think he ever had another hit. But people were just raving. Wow, now this is what I call a first book.
yeah,
Yeah.
The library has the book or had the book or something.
Yeah, and of course it's so dark, but it involves people that it just shows the dog eat dog world. If you get around,
Oh,
if you get around
no
certain kind of
honor
people.
among thieves,
Oh yeah,
man.
yeah. I think of that moment in the Cowboy Lonesome Dove movie when all the bad guys get a guy that's mortally wounded. And 2 days ago he'd been
Best buddies.
they're chum.
Ride or die, man.
Yeah, that's right. Boy, I tell you, the moment he got weakened, he became something of to mock and to kick and all that as you go by, because now you can really show what you think about and especially he's turned into something new. He's turned into something you can kick,
Yeah,
without consequence.
I couldn't push you around before.
Yeah, look at this. He squawks when you kick him.
Yeah, if we shoot him, will he bleed?
Yeah, yeah. So that was pretty cool. And of course, Blue Duck, I think, is one of the best, scariest villains I've ever seen in a cowboy thing. Oh yeah. The Odd Couple today, what would they do? I don't know. Just not possible. Maybe they could have
No,
maybe they could
do it today.
have a black Odd Couple. Take a swing at it. Have a female Odd Couple. Gender bend it.
Well, if they had, well, that's their go-to. Oh,
Yeah.
but they couldn't resist their urge to make two people live. They couldn't two platonic same-sex people living together. They'd have to make them romantically involved.
No.
They couldn't resist.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it would
Because
definitely be lesbians.
Felix and Oscar.
Yeah, I mean, well, and the TV show was so good.
Oh yeah.
The movie was good, but I always thought the TV. I loved that show as a kid. I loved any show when I was a kid that was that kind of a comedy that was kind of snappy,
Uh-huh.
But especially if it took place in New York City,
Mm-hmm.
Or even like Chicago, because I loved. Was it Newhart? No, the Bob Newhart show.
Mm-hmm.
With him and as the psychiatrist. I don't know. I just always liked watching a show where it was like the lead guy was a guy that could just come up with zingers,
Mm-hmm.
at the drop of a hat, just witty. MASH. I loved MASH when I was a kid. I would watch. If you stuck me on a desert island, I'm sure I've told you this. If you stuck me on a desert island, and I couldn't watch I could only watch one show from then on, it would probably be MASH.
It's the characters, yeah. The
Even
dialogue
Sopranos
equals
might give
character.
it a run for its money.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm watching The Sopranos for a third time, by the way. Maybe I've kind of got so. One of my employees is
Which director? Peter Yates directed Kroll? I think you're right. That does sound familiar, doesn't it? I don't know. I'll check that. Kroll.
I think I've got that DVD. I haven't watched that. I remember when I was a kid, it was part of that. There was like this, almost like a wave of fantasy thing.
Sword and sorcery.
Movies. Yeah, there was a little bit.
Tinged with sci-fi.
Yeah.
It was kind of unique.
Well, but there was also like Dragon Slayer, and there was.
You know what? You're right. Peter Yates. Yep. Back in 1983. Yeah.
83.
Wow.
I was 16 in 83. I turned 16.
Do you remember what the little weapon was called? What was that?
Clavicle.
Clavicle. No, I don't think it was a clavicle.
I think it was.
No.
The thing he threw. I remember in the game you could throw it in the Atari game.
Liam Neeson, game. Robbie Coltrane. Huh. I still haven't found the little prop's name. Here we go.
It's going to be
swords.
Clavicles. Clavicles.
My speed reading. I hope I haven't passed it already. A gymnasium.
The gymnasium? What?
He said the 40 stuntmen were trained up in a gymnasium. It's got lengthy trivia. Dang it. I just wanted one little piece of note about what the director and the weapon. Yeah.
I'm wandering downstairs to get some coffee.
Okay.
I mean, you can talk. I'll still hear you. I got my headphones on. I may talk to my wife for just a second.
Sure. Find out how
Did we get the air conditioner fixed? It does feel like it because it's not burning up upstairs. What was it? Bugs fried the capacitor? Bugs Bunny?
Bugs.
How much was it? 108? 180. The little bug cost me $180, Ellis.
Yemeni.
Well, the bug didn't cost. The frying of the capacitor cost me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes you just want to go live in a cave.
Just a whole stream of things that I'd rather spend $180 came to my mind.
Oh my gosh, I can't think like that because,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
And Eric
drive myself crazy. Drive myself crazy if I thought about it like that. There's a guy, one of my employees does that. He equates everything to how many Xboxes could you buy.
Well, that is the definition of crazy, not being or having that sort of thing be the only thing you have on your mind.
Yeah.
You can't get it out. That's the point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just, you know,
Hey,
you
look,
have to,
look, Fly Fox never cared much for MASH. Yeah, well, you know, I mean, the first Robert Altman thing, the whole point of it was, you know, savage satire, you know.
Well, the series I enjoyed a lot more than the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. Yeah. Well, that's okay. Fly Fox is wrong.
Fly Fox was -6 in 80. Whenever I said Carl was out, he needed 6 years more to get born.
Oh yeah.
MASH was good until the third season. Then it became great with season 4.
I don't know. It was season 4 when what's his face got on there? Charles Emerson Winchester.
Harry Morgan. Colonel Parker was the dynamic they needed.
I think it's Potter, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I think I misread it. Yeah.
You misread it.
Yeah.
You misread it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Potter was necessary.
Yeah.
That great old guy that was so good doing nothing on Dragnet. I thought that was great. You know, I mean, I read a concept that actors have about, you know, they'll sit there and say and seek kind of a stillness. And as you look at this person doing absolutely nothing, you start reading into them, you know, by the fact that they're sitting still and you're able to just ponder them all you want. You suddenly have this wealth of things you can think they're thinking. And and actors that are good at doing that, you probably, you know, they probably get that comment every now and then. The guy doesn't do anything, but at the same time, they, you know, instead of somebody acting like he's, you know, needs Ritalin or something, you know,
chewing up the scenery.
Yeah.
I watched it. Speaking of needing Ritalin, I watched a thing the other day about the making of the movie Giant. It's on TCM In Demand. Mm-hmm. And it's called, and it was filmed like in the 90s, I think. And it must have been, I don't know. Anyway, it was not current to now, and it wasn't. But anyway, they talked about that. So they were interviewed a lot of people that were involved and this sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Not James Dean, of course, but anyway, I'm a big James Dean fan, and so they interviewed a lot of the people that lived in the town that they filmed it in. Mm-hmm. And the guy was talking. One of the guys is the guy that taught James Dean. James Dean wanted to learn how to rope, rope cattle. And so one of the guys that was working on set and he was also James Dean's like accent coach. They hired him to teach him. They told him he'd have a job if he could teach James Dean to talk like him, or George Stevens, I think, was the director. And so he was doing that. And James Dean asked if he'd teach him how to rope a horse or whatever, you know, throw a rope and do a rope. And so he did. And at one point James Dean came to him and said, you know, I got this scene that's coming up and I don't know what to do because there's nothing. I don't have any lines. They got all the lines. I have no lines. And they're talking to me, but there's nothing for me to do in this. And so this guy said, well, just take your little thing of rope there and just kind of twirl around with it. Mm-hmm. And he stole the scene. You know, it's when I don't know if you're familiar with the movie or how often you've seen it or whatever, but
Oh yeah, yeah. McQueen could do that,
yeah, oh
easy.
yeah. Well,
People
yeah,
hated him for it. Yeah.
they were very similar kind of actors. They come,
Hmm.
I think they both tried out for,
I think they were both in the actor's studio. I think
yeah,
McQueen was definitely in it, and of course Dean was in it.
yeah. But anyway, that if you have TCM, I forget what it's called, it's like Return to Giant, I think, or something like
Hmm.
that. It's a good
Oh, check it
if
out.
you if you care about that sort of thing, it's
I
worth.
I read an article about good old Timothy. Is it Timothy? Wait a second. Oh, now I can't think of his name. I love this guy. He was in the Killing. What is his name? Oh, I'll find him. But he's just a wild man. Kubrick used him a lot, but everybody, uh, was the clear understanding that the man was crazy. He's the guy that plays the big bouncer in East of Eden. And I believe for some reason he was hanging out with Dean for a little bit on Giant. I'm not sure if did those pictures run together that much? Well, anyway,
Yeah.
he was hanging out with him.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dean. East of Eden had not been released
Oh, maybe that was it.
by the
Yeah.
time James Dean died before any of his films were
Any
released.
of
I
his films.
think
Yeah.
any of them. Yeah. And he died right after, because that's one thing they talked about was they said that Giant was his last one, and they said that when George, somebody came to George Stevens and said, George, we got to talk. I got to tell you something. And he
Oh,
told the
man.
crew, and everybody was just very upset. Elizabeth
Yeah.
Taylor was heartbroken that.
I imagine Nicholas Ray probably kind of took it tough
Oh,
wherever
Nicholas
he
Ray
got it.
probably, yeah, yeah, he probably.
Yeah, they had a little extra feature on a Nicholas Ray movie I watched. I need to watch Johnny Guitar again. See if I think that holds up or anything. What was I watching? Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, In a Lonely Place, the Bogart movie was a Nicholas Ray movie. That was pretty cool. And then they had a little special. It was him as a college professor walking around being interviewed from spot to spot. Dan says he saw that Giant special. It's
Oh,
online.
did he?
Yeah. Did they mention the wedding scene where Rock Hudson came to get Elizabeth Taylor back? Hmm.
I cannot remember if they
That
mentioned
that
that
is
or
one of
not.
my favorite insider Hollywood stories.
I don't know that, so
Huh.
I don't know if they mentioned that or not.
Crazy to think what could have been. Yeah, yeah, Johnny Guitar. Gotta
Man,
watch it
yeah.
again. Haven't seen it in a decade or so. Yeah, so there's a story that he came to get Elizabeth Taylor back in the wedding scene. Came to get Elizabeth Taylor back. Oh, did they delete it, or I'm not remembering the movie much. I know he had to kind of like
Yeah,
convince Elizabeth Taylor that she wanted to give up,
got that life and wherever she
that
was at.
life, that nice life in the East,
Yeah.
to go out in the
Hey,
middle of the. Let's see.
I got the
Look at
layout for
that.
page 3 done.
You and doing that reminds me of my troubles right now. I decided to go back to DL Notice, and I really want to, but
Well, do
I've scattered my files in such a haphazard way. I've got to get it all back together. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hoping to get. Oh,
Huh. Oh, they just got all drunk together. Okay.
oh, yeah. No, I don't think they talked about that.
I was. Yeah, that's one thing about YouTube. Boy, you get a lot of good info. We've been having some email back and forth. Here, Hudson wasn't long after that. Fortunately. Okay. Okay, so they had pretty good hangovers for their big wedding scene. But
Oh yeah.
luckily, they didn't have any dialogue. I do, I think.
The scene that this the, I have so I'm a big James Dean fan. I have multiple biographies of James Dean, and I had one for a long time when I was a kid. I bought it. I say kid, I was
Each
probably
one
high
different
school.
than the last. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they are. Some of them have a
Are
whole
they
different
different?
take. Yeah, I mean, but one of them I have talks about the giant thing that I remember from that is he went he was nervous. Had to film some big scene, and he was nervous about it. And there's this huge crowd. It's this book, James Dean, the Mutant King.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Big crowd, and he was like, oh, I don't know about filming this. He was a little, whatever, nervous, uptight, whatever. And so he goes. There's a big crowd because in the documentary they talked about how they let the town basically go out and watch him film,
Hmm.
and so he's doing this for all his people, and it was it was a little bit intimidating for him or whatever, right? And so he goes out and he unzips his for all these people, unzips his pants and takes a whiz in front of everybody, because he was like, if I can do that in front of them, then I don't have to worry about. Of course, nowadays he'd be arrested, but it was the 50s.
Yeah, I'm reading Dan. Dan just broke it all down, the whole scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep. If that would be hard to keep off my face. If I felt like I was about to get sick, I couldn't act like anything else. I was thinking though, I saw it in a piece of fiction. Someone talks about it's like putting your fight face on. Uh, maybe look at yourself in the mirror once before you go out for the day and say, I'm going to keep this face all day long.
No one's getting the better of me.
Yeah, because I'm getting out there and going amongst them. The savages, they're not going to bend me a bit. Live 102.26. You want to call it done?
Let's call it. So speaking of Out Among the Savages, if anybody missed us earlier, I will not be.
You want to apologize
for next 2 weeks.
Go ahead.
Yeah. If you missed us, what do you have to say for yourself? No.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will be out. My wife and I are going on vacation, and we're leaving next Thursday, and we won't be back until the next Saturday. And we're going to New York. That's why I say Out Among the Savages.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, yeah, be careful.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm more apprehensive than I've ever been about this kind of thing. But I mean, I think I wouldn't go if I thought it was ultra dangerous.
No, you guys know your way. If it was some guy just arriving that hadn't done it before, he might be in trouble. But you guys know where to go and what to avoid.
Well, you just have to be situationally aware as much as you can all the time. But anyway, so I don't know if you're going to record Ellis or not, or
I don't know. I may, like I say, I need to make a point of doing some essays.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Dan Johnson. Yeah, Rock was. He had $1 million worth of charisma. Can't get away from it.
Yeah, I like Giant's a pretty good movie.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's a little long, maybe, but
it is long, but it's
it is fun. It leads up to that great little climax.
Texas movie.
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay, I'm gonna go see what all the hooping and hollering about the alarm was. Their siren, rather.
It's nice out here. The sun's out. It looks really good. I mean, it rained a lot, but it's good, and my air conditioner's fixed. $200 later, my air conditioner.
Yep. Okay, we'll call it quits, Scott.
Okay, sounds good. See you, Ellis.
See you, Fly Fox Dan.
See you, Fly Fox and Dan. Thanks for joining.